Welcome to the worst nightmare of all. This movie. What's going on, Cenobites? It's time to go over Hellraiser 6, Hellraiser Hellseeker. This is a sequel that was actually written to be a Hellraiser sequel, whereas the last one was written as a detective script and they threw Pinhead in at the last second. And even though this one was written to be a Hellraiser sequel, it has just as much Pinhead, if not less, than the last one, which I thought was very odd. And it kind of irritated me. I was expecting more, but nope. We are officially in bad sequel territory. This was not a step up. I said the last one was probably my favorite sequel so far. This one's towards the bottom. This was not that good. But what's the story about? I'll tell you real quick. The synopsis is about a guy who wakes up with slight amnesia from a car accident. He has a very bad headache and he doesn't know where his wife's at. He thinks his wife's dead or maybe missing. They haven't found the body. And slowly he gets his memory back and he starts to uncover the truth behind what really happened in that car. And that's the story. It's a mystery. Although I think it's kind of obvious, especially once you get to the halfway point, you're like, all right, I think I see where this is going. And it's pretty obvious. It's not that good of a movie. We got Dean Winters here, the Allstate guy, the guy who's in those commercials like, hey, I'm the guy who's stealing your car. And what? You see those commercials? It's hilarious. He's the guy who has like all the bandages on his face and he's like destroying shit, getting hurt, like fraud, those things, like Allstate. So when I saw this movie and I saw him, I was like, that's the Allstate guy. And I couldn't stop thinking about it the whole time. And he's wearing a suit too, just like he does in the commercials. He's got like a suit that's like 3 sizes too big, and he has like a tie that's not even actually tied and tightened properly. Kind of irritated me. It's like, dude, just tighten it up, buddy. He has like the same fucking one-note expression throughout the whole movie, but I will get into it later. I was not crazy about him, but we got Kirsty back, the character Kirsty, played by Ashley Laurence, and we got Doug Bradley, once again, as Pinhead. This came out in 2002, a couple years after the 5th one, and is directed by Rick Bota, who directs the next 2 sequels. And once again, we got the special effects done by Gary J. Tunnicliffe, who did all the other ones. So, yeah, let's discuss this messy movie in this week's Horror Franchise Wednesday.
Hellraiser Hellseeker.
Alright, so this is apparently also Clive Barker's favorite sequel since Part 2, and this is the last one he even participated in, producer-wise. So after this, it will be Clive Barker free. No more influenced by him. And I don't know what he changed. He apparently added something at the end towards the 3rd act. But it didn't save the movie. No sirree. Let's dive into this. What are my pros? You see boobs once across the street. He's looking across the street, he sees boobs. There's not much. I like Kirsty, she's back. Although they don't utilize her. You see her just as much as you see Pinhead. So they don't really have her in here a whole lot, which that was a letdown. I was expecting to see a lot more of her, but I did not get that at all. And I can't. The score is a little bit better than the 5th one. I mean, I like the opening, just the shot of the Rubik's Cube. It's just floating around the Rubik's Cube, the camera, and the soundtrack that plays. I got nothing. Like, there's some Cenobites in here. You barely see them. I don't even know who these Cenobites were. Like, besides Pinhead, they bring in these new guys. I think one of them was the Chatterer, but you don't see him that much. And there's this other guy who looked really weird. I think he had barbed wire wrapped around his head. I'm not sure who these new additions are. It's not explained. This is a sequel to 4. Yeah, it is. I like that there's some continuity. So once again, this is a sequel to the first 4. We get some mention of John Merchant. I forget who said it, but somebody mentioned it. They said something about John Merchant. I think it was Pinhead himself. So this does tie itself to the first 4. And I'm a continuity guy, so I like that. The 5th one so far is the only one that's ignored the previous one. So there's that. That's all my positives. So the hottest chick award in this movie goes to the neighbor. I didn't write her name down. We'll just call her Daphne. All right? Because I think the hottest chick in the 5th movie, her name was Daphne, so we'll call this chick Daphne. Every chick in the world whose name is Daphne is beautiful. Name one Daphne who isn't. And the best shot in this movie is when Pinhead is finally on screen towards the end, when the light starts shining through the office or the morgue, and you see Pinhead, just the way it's lit. I thought it was a beautiful, creepy, eerie shot, so there's your best shot of the movie. Now on to the cons. The story, the characters, I'm not interested. I wasn't buying it one bit, and boy was I trying. I was just not on board one bit with this guy. He's an asshole, and I knew it straight up. They lay it on pretty thick that this guy obviously had a history with cheating on his wife. It opens up with them driving down the road, and they're talking about, like, we're going to fix this relationship. You know, we're just going to build it from scratch. Let's start over. So you already know there's something going on there. And then as the film progresses, you see all these chicks who keep trying to bang his brains out. And you're like, yep, there's something, some temptation. Is that what Pinhead's doing? He's trying to tempt him. He's testing them. It's very obvious. And then, like, everything's a dream sequence to the point where it has no effect anymore. It doesn't, like, oh my gosh, a dream sequence. It's over and over and over again. Like, this movie has a formula. It's guy goes to new place, any different location, doesn't matter, goes to location A, has a dream where he's being attacked or almost fucked by some hot chick, or both, where he's being fucked and then he gets attacked, wakes up from that dream, hallucinates something else, but it's not really a dream, but he's seeing Cenobites or something in the background, and then has a memory, and he starts to gain a little bit more memory, and then goes to a new location, rinse and repeat, has another fucking hallucination / dream, gets attacked or gets seduced, and then has another hallucination, another memory, and you just rinse and repeat throughout. So it just had no effect by the halfway point, because you had seen so many dream sequences where everything was just like, yep, see it coming, this is fake, yep, this woman's about to attack him. It just lost its fucking effect. It just became so stale and dull, and it's like, and again, like, this guy, Dean Winters, the main guy in this movie, the Allstate guy, he has the same expression and emotion throughout the whole film, which is just complete confusion and pain. Like, oh, I got a headache. Just complaining about his headache the whole movie. Just wasn't interested in his character at all. I already knew he was a douchebag from minute one. He was a cheater, so I'm not on board with this guy. And just, the movie's just a jumbled mess. I felt like it just kept jumping from location, back to that location, back over here. The guy was going everywhere, and I just couldn't keep up. I'm like, what's going on? And then just weird shit would happen, and they would barely get explained at the end. Like, oh, this happened because of this. And it's like, so what? That's just random. Just random shit happening. Barely makes sense. I get the whole story overall, but damn, was it a chore to get through. I was just not on board. There's no gore. There's no real, like, Hellraiser moments until, like, the very end. Once again, like part 5, where the chains come up and they grab Dean Winters in his face, although he doesn't get ripped apart. So there's, like, nothing that good. There's so much more CGI in this one. And unlike the previous installment, the CGI in this one was a lot more noticeable and unnecessary when Pinhead's coming out of the wall. Why they needed to do that? He could have just made an entrance in a different fashion. And they used horrible CGI to show you that shot. Just bad, dodgy CGI. So yeah, the movie was just boring. Overall, I wasn't on board. That's all I can say. Final thoughts. The movie was boring. Didn't care for Dean Winters. The whole too many dream sequences. It just was just rinse and repeat every scene. The whole idea of what this guy did, like, it's not original. There's nothing original here. Again, it's almost like a Jacob's Ladder thing. It's like, oh my gosh, this person's just, it's all a dream. Everything's a dream. Like, so many dreams happening. It's just a mess of a movie. So I just did not care for it at all. So therefore, I will say, when it comes to Hellraiser Hellseeker, you can skip this one because it is wasted time. Now it's time to go into spoiler territory. The best kill in this movie is Sage, or Saga, how the hell you say her name, Sage, the acupuncturist. And you'll notice that her death is very lame because it's off camera, but every death in this movie is lame. They're all off camera, and it's like, did she die? I have no idea. And then later on, it's like, wait, she is dead. Okay. Yeah, the whole movie's confusing. So yeah, I guess Sage was the best kill. She has the best aftermath out of all of them. And then the worst kill will go to Trevor, the main douchebag in this movie, who got his brains blown out by his wife, Kirsty. Spoiler alert. Yeah, we're in the spoiler section. So, let's talk about this movie. So it opens up with a car crash into a lake. And they're talking about the relationship. They start making out on the road, which is a very reckless thing to do. But then again, this is all made up bullshit. This is his story he's making up in his head. They crash into the lake, wakes up with a headache because he got a lobotomy. And that's the real gore you get in this movie, is the lobotomy when they're like sawing up his head with that circular drill. Reminded me of Saw 3 when they do the lobotomy on John Kramer. Then Trevor, his boss, comes in and she starts sexually assaulting him. And he's like, "Dude, get off me." And then she's like, "Well, you can say goodbye to that promotion." Typical, you don't fuck me, I don't promote you type crap. And then he goes home and he's spying on this guy. He sees a serial killer like type figure on the street, sees that he goes into this building across the street from him. And then all of a sudden, a eel or some type of long ass fish, I think it was an eel, comes right out of his mouth. And then it's explained later on when they pull his corpse out of the lake, he has like a fish in his mouth. So I liked that little explanation at the end. I was like, oh, that's kind of cute. But nothing else is explained, so. And then, yeah, so Kirsty opens up Cube in an old tape. He's looking at these old, like, honeymoon tapes because he's trying to remember his wife. He doesn't know where she is. Like, in his mind, she's missing. And he thinks that she might be dead down there in the lake, but they can't find her body. So he's watching these tapes, and apparently he gave her a Rubik's Cube, the Lament configuration, for their 5th anniversary or some shit. And because there's so many dreams in this film, and so many things that he's seeing that end up not being real, or they are, or maybe they're not, it's confusing. I thought that was a dream sequence, and it was made up, and that she never really did get that. Like, that tape was faux. It didn't happen. But no, he really gave her that cube, and then it expands upon that later on. Like, he gave her the cube because he knew about her history, and he wanted that he forced her to open up that cube so that she would die by the hand of the Cenobites, and he would get her fortune. Because now Kirsty is filthy rich. Apparently Frank and Larry from Hellraiser 1 were filthy rich, and we didn't know about it. I don't remember them saying anything about their fortune, but apparently they have a shit ton of money. So he's trying to murder his wife for money. That type of story in a Hellraiser movie. And then, yeah, he just keeps getting all these people trying to fuck him throughout the whole movie. Every other scene is like, chick down the hall tries to bang him. The boss tries to bang him. Boss comes to his house, tries to bang him. Goes to the acupuncturist. Acupuncturist tries to bang him. Goes back home. Actually wants to bang the chick down the hall. She already has a boyfriend. It's just all this weird stuff. I like that he goes to the acupuncturist, and he has all the needles in him, so now he's like Pinhead. And then Pinhead like sneaks up on him and like takes the nail out of his head and like stabs him with it through like the neck. Thought that was pretty cool. And funny, because, nail, needle. You get it? You get it? I think you do.
Which do you find more exhilarating, Trevor? The pain or the pleasure? Personally, I prefer pain.
We also see Brad Dudley once again appearing as a human, although he's pretending like he's someone else. He's not like Elliot Spencer no more. He's just impersonating some weirdo on the street selling cubes. And he sells it to Kirsty. So I have to wonder, is this Doug Bradley, the Pinhead actual guy, like trying to manipulate this guy because he knows that he's trying to kill his wife? I don't know. Like, is he selling him a cube because he knows that he's married to Kirsty? If not, it's a fucking major convenience. So I think, to make sense, it's Doug Bradley, Pinhead, you know what I mean. It's Pinhead in human form who knows about the husband's motives and is like, I got a better way you can kill her with this cube. Give it to her. And he probably told her told Dean Winters the whole story about the significance of that cube. I don't know. Like I said, there's so many dreams. Like, the boss comes over, tries to seduce him. He says no, but then he realizes that he was being filmed while she was on top of him. And then the tape's playing back, and it's like showing an alternate event, like where he didn't say no and they were fucking. He's like, this didn't happen. And then boom, he wakes up, he's at work, different location, hallucination, this is a dream, everything's a dream. Then the neighbor comes by to fuck him, and it's a dream. And then the neighbor's actually dead in a chair. And then JK, she's not actually dead in the chair, she's alive. And then you get towards the end, you're like, no, she actually was dead in the chair. I don't know what's real anymore. So annoying. But yeah, it's like the boss is dead, and they're like, oh my gosh, did you hear what happened to our boss? She's dead. And it's like, is she? I don't know. But yeah, then you find out at the end, Kirsty made another deal with Pinhead, and I have to be like, bullshit. Because Pinhead, before we see him with Kirsty, he's saying to Trevor, like, and this is all his game plan too, like he's working with Trevor to get the wife. They both got they both got something that they want from, like, he wants the money, Pinhead wants the revenge because he has this revenge, this anger towards her because she's the one that got away twice. And in both those movies, what did she do to get away? She made a deal. And she does it again in this one. It's like he was talking about how he wants this revenge against Kirsty, and then as soon as he's face to face with her, instead of torturing her ass like he's been wanting to do for years, he makes another deal with her. Like, okay, I'll let you go, and in exchange for 5 souls, so she can go kill her cheating husband and the 4 mistresses and the one that was conspiring with the husband to kill her. It's just dumb. Like, I don't believe that for 1 second that Pinhead would be that dumb to fall for her shenanigans again and be like, all right, I'll make a deal with you, woman who I made a deal with twice and let go twice, and now I'm all pissed off about it. Yeah, I'll let you go. Bullshit. And I like how when Trevor's at his work and he works in a cubicle, get it? Cubicle? He works in a cubicle, and he tells his coworker, like, I think I killed Kirsty. And then the homicide detective's like right there, and he doesn't hear him. Get the fuck out of here. That's just bullshit. And then that awful CGI later. I don't get this at all. The 2 detectives that we see in this movie, they end up being like one person. They got like the double head thing going on, like the CGI head coming out of the one guy. It looks awful. It's dumb. It's not necessary. Take it out. I don't get that. Can someone explain why that had to be in here? It just makes no sense. But yeah, then we get the hallucination where Trevor buys the Rubik's Cube box. So we find out that he's responsible, and he did buy the cube, and that tape of him forcing Kirsty to open it was indeed real. And then he goes back to the acupuncturist, and she attacks him, and then he sees her die, or like the cops come in, it looks like he killed her, and then he gets arrested, and they have a morgue in the basement, and the basement looks like a fucking asylum. A police station does not look like that underneath. That's horseshit. Do police stations all have morgues underneath? I doubt it. Seriously. And there's like people, it looked like an insane asylum down it. But when you find out the whole thing's a dream, it's not real, it's a hell world type shit, I guess that excuses it, because Pinhead can manipulate that world that Trevor's stuck in. And then Pinhead tells Trevor he's the killer, and the co-worker reminds Trevor that they had a plan to go kill Kirsty, and his co-worker thinks that he's trying to fuck him out of the money. Like, we were going to kill her together. Now you think you can just make up this amnesia story and this car accident and just get the money to yourself? I don't think so. But then he just blows his own brains out. So that's confusing. But then it's explained at the end that he didn't blow his brains out. Kirsty did. So yeah, just weird shit happening. But I guess it kind of explains, a lot of it's explained by the end, but there's still some questions. The cop who turns into the double head thing, I don't get that. That's just for the look, the CGI, the scare factor, but it's not scary, it's awful looking. But yeah, he gets arrested and he starts hallucinating all the cops at the police station, like beating the shit out of perps. Like, one guy's getting like beat to death with a club, you see blood splat on the wall, and this other guy's getting his face tased to like his face is burning. Just like he's hallucinating all these murders going on, police brutality at the station. I thought that was kind of funny. Like, it was like comical. And then he gets chained up by Pinhead, and Pinhead tells him that his wife sold him out, and he's been dead this whole movie. He sees the body with the cover on it. He takes the cover off, thinking it's gonna be Kirsty, but nope, it's Trevor. It's his own body. And it flashes back to the car sequence, and we see Kirsty put the bullet in his head, and we find out that, yeah, he's been dead the whole movie. Kirsty shot him, and she shot all those people that he cheated on her with, and the person that he was conspiring with to kill her in exchange for her own life. So my question is that's not how the cube works. The cube works like if you touch the cube, it only affects you. Like, the chains come at you, you get sucked into the hell world, you have to deal with Pinhead, but what, she can kill anybody and their soul just automatically knows to go to Pinhead and his world? Like, she just, no matter who she kills, that soul will automatically just be Amazon delivered to fucking Pinhead? That makes no sense. That kind of goes against the lore established in this franchise. Does it not? Seems like it to me. But yeah, it's like over. Like, Kirsty gets away with it, easy peasy. Makes it look like it was a homicide, suicide, like he killed them all. She frames her dead husband. And then the detective gives her the Rubik's Cube, like, here you go. I found it at the scene of the crime. and she keeps it. Bullshit. She was like, no, you can keep it. And yeah, that's the end of the movie. That's all I gotta say about Hellseeker. What did you guys think about this movie? Is it better than Inferno? I think Inferno's better. I heard it gets worse after this. 7 and 8 came out like the same year. I think they were filmed back to back, and they came out in 2005, both of them. And I heard they're the worst of the franchise, so I can't wait to sit through those god-awful messes. But maybe I'll be surprised. I was surprised with Inferno. Maybe I'll be surprised again, in a good way. So those are my thoughts on Hellseeker. Let me know what you thought about this movie in the comments below. Thank you so much for joining me tonight. Hit this like button to show your support, and you can become a subscriber today if you haven't already, just by clicking on my cartoon face in about 5 seconds. And until next time, auf Wiedersehen.